everyone, welcome to online lectures. I'm Daneshwari, working as degree lecturer in Commerce TTWRDC Devarakonda. Today, we are going to understand a new topic from business laws, that is Consumer Protection Act 1986. This topic is very simple to understand and interesting also. So why it is interesting? See, this topic is related to our general life. Okay, so here in today's session, in this lecture, we are going to understand what is Consumer Protection Act, who is the consumer, what are his rights and responsibilities, and how his appeals and grievances will be redressed. Right? So we'll try to understand this topic in detail. Okay. So whenever we start a new topic, some different questions arise in our mind, right? So what does this Consumer Protection Act? Why this Consumer Protection Act? And who is called a consumer? When this act came into existence? See, like this, different questions arise in our mind. Am I right or not? Right. So here we'll try to understand, we'll try to give answers to these questions in this lecture. Okay, so first, as we start by understanding the title of our today's topic. So our topic is Consumer Protection Act, right? So what is this act? See, this act is a practice of safeguarding consumer. It is a practice of safeguarding the consumers of goods and services. See, why this consumer need to be protected? So this is very big question. Why? Why it is needed? See, it is needed since in in our general life or in a marketplace, sometimes due to some different practices of sellers, we may be cheated. Right? Am I right or not? Some we have experienced also this. So here, this to avoid this, to avoid or to against these unfair practices in the marketplace, the consumer need to be protected. So this act is a practice of protecting consumers. Right? So here, so before understanding this act, we need to know, we need to understand who is a consumer. Who is a consumer, by the way? Yes, consumer is nothing but a final or end user of any good and services. Right? Example, Mr. X. Mr. X went to the shop. He purchased some veggies in the market. He come back to home and he prepared food. He had his breakfast. Okay. So in this example, Mr. X is a consumer. Why? Because he is purchasing vegetables and consuming, right? So he is a final user of that product. So any individual who who is a final user of any product or services is called a consumer. We can say a consumer is an individual who consumes goods and who avails services from the manufacturers or from the sellers. Right? See, we, for example, from the morning to evening, from we start our activity in the morning by brushing, right? So from that activity till we go to bed, we use number of goods, we consume number of products, and we avail different services. So example, we have to come to college, we need to get a transport service, right? We need cash, we need to use banking service. Yes. So in a daily life, a consumer a consumer consumes number of products and avails number of services. So these services or goods will be manufactured by the some manufacturer or sold by the some sellers, right? So now we understood that consumer is nothing but he is a final user of any product, right? So now here, so generally we get confused with the one more term which is related to consumer, that is customer. So what is the difference between customer and consumer? See here, customer will pay the price, consumer also will pay the price. Customer will purchase the good, consumer also purchase the good. But customers aim is not the final consumption of a product, but the consumer final aim is consumption of that product. Okay, so in the previous example, we told that Mr. X purchased vegetables from the market, right? So in that example, he come back to home and he prepared food. So he is the final consumer. Suppose he purchased goods and he sold it to some other person. Then in that situation, this Mr. X is not called as a consumer. He is called as a customer. Okay. See, customer's aim is not consuming the product, whereas the consumer's aim is final consumption of a product or services. Okay, so now you understand the difference between a customer or consumer. Okay, so next we'll understand this Consumer Protection Act when it has came into existence. So before we understand this act, so why does consumer need to be protected? See, consumer every day he is having number of choices. So he is purchasing goods and he is getting satisfaction. He is availing different services. There also he is getting satisfaction, right? But why? Why this consumer has to be protected? Say we'll understand this with an example, right? So for example, you went to market and you have purchased, you brought a new dress. Okay, you bought a new dress, and so after one wash, so that size of the dress, so when you have purchased it was a L size, and after washing that has come to S size. How do you feel in that situation? See here, see you feel that you are cheated by some other person, right? Who is that some other person? See, here, nothing but seller. You are cheated by seller. See, seller's aim is earning profits, right? So this idea of getting profits, more and more profits, sometimes leads to some unfair practices in the market. So to safeguard that unfair practices from the market, the consumer need to be protected. So to protect this consumer, this act has come into existence. Okay. So here this act helps helps the consumer to redressal his grievances. It safeguards the interest of the consumers. Suppose if he is cheated by any seller, he get a platform to uh, to raise his voice. That is nothing but a lodge. He can lodge a complaint. Okay, so this act completely supports the consumer. It's completely safeguards the consumer. So it sees that the consumer should not be cheated by some sellers. It tries to put a full stop, or it tries to reduce the grievances of consumers. Okay, so this act came into existence in the year of 1986. Before that, this act, there was number of acts were existed, but um, this act has given importance to the customer, and this mainly we can say it is to safeguard the rights of the consumer. Okay, so in our topic we try to we understand what are the rights of a consumer and responsibilities of a consumer. Okay, so do you not know that a consumer is having rights? Yes, he has rights. Always we are saying consumer, consumer. We have rights. We have rights. So this act has given some rights to the consumers, as we have fundamental rights which has gifted by our constitution. So similarly, this act is also in this act also it has given rights for the consumers. So we have 6 rights. So we'll understand this 6 rights. So the first one is right to safety. Right to safety. See, always we say that safety is very important. Safety is the primary thing, right? See, here a consumer before purchasing a product, he has to see the quality, and he need to see the product quality, something like see here example, we'll understand this with an example. See, for example, you want to purchase an electronic appliances, you will search for ISI symbol. See, why this ISI symbol? So this symbol indicates the and indicates that whether the product is safe or not, right? See, here for each and every product, that product should not harm the consumer. It should not harm you or some other person. Okay. Suppose what happens if you have not if you have purchased something like a fake product, something like a which is not having an ISI symbol product. What happens? That product, it may lack some quality. So with that, we cannot expect what happens by usage of that product, right? So the consumer need to get safety. So when he is purchasing products or when he is availing services, that services or products should not harm the consumer. So this is the first right which is given to the consumer. What is that? Right to safety. And the next right is right to choose. The second right is right to choose. See, the consumers should have a right to choose from a variety of goods in this competitive price. See, here the consumer should have a choice. He should select which one is best. The consumer should not be insisted by some other person. So you have to take this, you have to use this. No one should compel him to purchase that product. So here the consumer should have complete right. He should have a freedom to choose what product which is suitable to him and price. So see here, same kind of products, but prices are different. So in that situation, according to the consumer according to the consumer psychology, that person, suppose he wants to have a qualitative good at a lesser price. So according to him, he will purchase. So no other person should not insist him to purchase that good. So he should have complete freedom to choose which item to purchase. Right? So the sellers should provide different choices for the buyers. Okay. And the next right is right to be informed. Right to be informed. The consumer should be informed with the necessary information about the product. Okay. See, here when you are purchasing a product, you should know the complete details of that product. Okay. Suppose you are going to purchase a sorry, if you are going to purchase some herbal oil, right? So here, what are the ingredients used in that oil, and what is the manufacturing date? What is the expiry date? Okay, so did they take all the necessary measures or precautions to manufacture that product? See, where is that industrial unit is established? See, something like when we purchase a new, when we purchase a product, so we see at the back all the information relating to that particular product. So here the consumer is having a right to be informed. So whatever the question comes to his mind, the consumer, so that question should be answered by the information. He must be communicated. He must be communicated. The product communicates with the consumer. Okay, this is the third right. Right to be informed. And the next right is right to be heard. Okay, so the consumer is having the right to be heard. See here, when we want to raise, when we are saying something, someone should have. We need some person to listen that, right or not? So if nothing, no one is there, why do we shout, right? See, suppose if we want to say something, someone should, someone should have to listen that, right? So here, this act, this act gives a complete right for the consumer to open his voice. Suppose he is not satisfied. Suppose he is not satisfied by the usage of that product. So what happens? Is see he is not satisfied. So what happens? So he want to say that he want to express that this product is not good. Please don't use, or by the using of this product, I got this, something like, okay. So here someone should there to listen our voice. Okay, so it means the consumer grievances should be redressed, right? So he is having a right to be heard. Okay. And the next right is right to seek redressal. Suppose the consumer is having some grievances, some complaints. So these complaints should be solved. Suppose the consumer uh, complained about any product. So suppose he is having a genuine reason. He used some product, but he did not get a expected results. Okay. So in this situation, he can file a complaint, and he is having some complaints relating to that particular product. So these grievances should be solved. So he is having another right, that is his redressal. His he need to have redressal of his grievances, right? And the next right, the last right is that right to be educated. The consumer need to be educated. He need to be aware of his rights. So someone comes and violates his rights. What happens? Someone comes and exploits his rights. What's happened? What happens? See here, the if the consumer doesn't have uh, if the consumer is not having any idea about his rights, see, he never know that he is exploited. Am I right? So the consumer need to have an awareness of his rights. So this is the last right, that is he is he should be educated. He should be educated. See here, ignorance can cause them more. So these are the rights of consumers. Okay. So see, whenever we talk about the rights, see, the coin will have two sides, right? Head and tail. We cannot imagine a coin without head or tail. So we have to see both the sides, right? So similarly, this rights never comes alone. It brings its partner. So this partner is nothing but responsibilities. Whenever we have rights, we have to discharge our responsibilities also. So the consumer is having rights as well as the responsibilities. So what are his responsibilities? The responsibilities of consumers, the first, see, here the foremost responsibility of the consumer is that he to be aware, he to be educated. Okay, see, the consumer should have minimum awareness about the product or services before he purchasing, right? So minimum something like the basic information, primary information about the product. So what is about that product, what are the uses of that product, like, so he has to be aware. So the first responsibility of the consumer is that he has to be aware of the product. And the next one is responsibility to think independently. Okay, so here the consumer should not depend on any other person. He has to think independently. So before making, see, suppose he is having some choices, he is having some 3 or 4 choices. In that situation, the consumer should think independently. Okay, so from that different choices, he has to pick one. So he has to think independently and he has to select his choice. This is the second responsibility. And the next one is responsibility to speak out. See that we understood that he is having a right to be heard. So if he want to enjoy that right, he has to open his mouth. He has to speak out. So when he is having any grievances, any complaints about any supplier or seller from any trader, he should open out his words. He should speak out. Then only his grievances will be solved. Right? Next one is responsibility to complain. Okay. So he is having a complaint. Okay. And when he want to open his voice, so not only opening his voice, and he should file a complaint about his grievances. So already we have discussed that when the consumer is not having satisfaction, what happens? Simply he can go and file a complaint. Okay, genuine reasons will be accepted. Okay, so this is another responsibility of the consumer. And the next one is responsibility to be an ethical consumer. So the last one is he has to be ethical. He should be very fair. He should not see. Already, suppose we were discussing that the sellers will practice some unfair practices. Okay, so we are fighting for the consumers. So the consumer should have ethics. They should be very fair, right? See, they should not have any deceptive practices, right? So these are the rights and responsibilities of consumers. And the next one, so we were discussing about that grievances. So to solve his grievances, this act provides a forum, consumer, that is called as consumer disputes redressal forum. So it is a three-tier structure. Okay, so at the district level we'll have a district forum, at the state level we'll have a state commission, and the national level also we have a national commission. So we have a three-tier structure in our country, that is to file a complaint to solve the grievances of the consumer. So we'll understand this three-tier structure and how this grievance system is. See, the citizen who is having, the individual who is having the complaint, so he has to file a complaint. So the necessary action will be taken by the proper officer. See here, this is a process of filing a complaint. See here, we said that it is a three-tier structure at the district level, at the state level, and the national level. So the consumers disputes, all the consumer disputes will be settled in this forums. See here, this district forum uh, is concerned with the cases which are less than 20 lakh rupees. So the value of the uh, goods must be below 20 lakhs. So this amount, see, this structure system is there, no, three-tier structure. So it divides based upon the value of the consumer's good. Okay, so here if the consumer is having the complaint about about a sum of rupees, something like below 20 lakhs, he should file a complaint in a district forum. Okay, and if the value is more than 20 lakhs to 1 crore rupees, then he has to approach the state level commission. And suppose if that amount is beyond that 1 crore rupees, he has to file a complaint in the national commission forum. Right. So these are the three-tier system we are following in India to solve the grievances of customers in different levels. Okay. So these disputes will be redressed in these forums. Right. So always these forums will support uh, consumers it always safeguards against unfair practices of uh, sellers. Okay, so the consumer easily he can be cheated by someone. So to avoid that, to against that, this forums are established. Okay, see all this now we were so we so till now we have discussed about the 1986 Act. Now see number of amendments have made to this act. So recent amendment is 2019. It was made in 2019. See here, uh, all these years, see years are passing means some some fresh experience will come, right? So some new challenges will arrive. So according to the new challenges, these amendments has to be made to this act. So the recent amendment has made to this act in the year of 2019. So what are the difference? See, 86 act and 19 act means, see here the consumer in the 1986 Act, he was not having a separate regulator, whereas in this new Act, he is having a separate regulator. So Central Consumer Protection. So this is a separate consumer consumer regulator we see in the recent amendment. Okay. See, in this amendment act, 2019 amendment act gives a more scope for the e-commerce. See, the business, everything has changed. See, from the last few months, see, everything was changed, right? Everything has changed now also. See, online lecture, see how everything is changed. Before that, a traditional lecture, we used to follow that blackboard, teachers, students, no physical contact. So we are taking all virtual classes. See, everything was changed. Everything is changed. So similarly, so this from the 1986 to till today, there are different changes has occurred. So according to that changes, these amendments are made. So now e-commerce is playing a crucial role in the present business business market, right? So here in the 1986 Act, there was no provisions or no relation regarding this e-commerce, whereas in this recent amendment act 2019, it has given uh, rules, and it has given a wide scope in for the e-commerce. So this is all about Consumer Protection Act, their responsibilities and their rights. So thank you all. Have a nice day.